is the Vintage RPG Podcast, your source for the best in classic and contemporary RPGs. With your hosts, Hambone and Stu.
Welcome to the Vintage RPG Podcast, coming at you again from the clubhouse, hidden somewhere in the swamps of New Jersey. I'm John Hambone McGuire. With me, as always, is the founder and publisher of Unwittable. The last time he saw a Trollpak, it came from Haribo, Stu Horvath.
All right.
Listen, I had to work real hard for that. And for those who will be Googling this afterwards, Haribo gummies, they have a pack of trolls they call Goonies. So I thought it was a fever dream and that maybe I invented them in my mind, but no, there is a pack of trolls in gummy form called Goonies. So,
All right. Well, there you go. Hello. So last week's episode, we talked about Castle Thrax, and I asked folks to tell me more about the game store Spellbinders in Akron, Ohio. And I have a little bit of information I just wanted to update the audience on.
Already?
Yeah, no, people move fast. It's the internet age.
Cheese and crackers.
So first of all, there were a couple of those products that are easily traceable. A lot of them that I mentioned that I thought were interesting were from Palladium. I kind of forget that Palladium, before Rifts and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and such, their original publications was a series of weapon books, much like many other early D&D improving role-playing designers. So the contemporary weapons, the exotic weapons books that I mentioned, and also the Egyptian-flavored one, Valley of the Kings, were all Palladium productions. I said that Valley of the Kings was FGU, and it feels like an FGU game. When you have it in your hands, you're like, oh no, this is Palladium? That's weird. But a lot of those early Palladium books also feel like they should be FGU in a lot of ways. Anyway, so that's a correction. But Michael Monaco, who's been on the podcast, he's written a book about fantasy wargaming, if you recall. I do. He had frequented the store back in the day. Let's see. He sent me an email literally just before we started recording. So he said that they still seem to exist online for sure. A couple other people have hit me to that. Other people had mentioned that they've moved from Akron to Kent. The owner is a person named Michael Mirth. Mike says, I came to Ohio in late 1988, so I don't know if he bought it from someone else or has always been the owner. He now mostly does comedy and stage magic and lives in North Hollywood, working as a magician. And that's what the flash paper is that was listed on stage magician paper.
Yes.
And I think that that's just such a wonderful kind of overlap of weird niche hobbies for the time. But now it makes sense that, oh yeah, the guy who wants to be who's a magician who runs the store wants to have flash paper. Mike also says that in the 80s and 90s, the store in Kent had a lot of magic tricks and costume rentals in addition to the RPG stuff. He mentions the occult stuff, and it got big in the early 2000s. They moved from their original location to a spot close to the Kent Stage Theater, which was a much smaller space. Yeah, and that's an update. That's kind of cool. I'd love to know more. I have Michael Mirth, if you're listening, I'm going to track you down because Mike Monaco gave me your email address. So I'm going to get to the bottom of those other games products.
Absolutely amazing that we got this so quickly.
Not only did we get it quickly, a whole bunch of people corrected me, and then a couple people had mentioned that it was in Kent now. But I love the fact that the bulk of the information came from Mike Monaco, who has already been on the show. I think that is a perfect sort of illustration of just how small this hobby really is.
And I tell people this all the time, especially people kind of breaking into it. The hobby is so much smaller than you could ever possibly imagine.
It's 15 people.
Yeah, and the same $20 getting passed back and forth over and over again.
Well, that's video games too. long joked about how the indie video game scene is the same 25 people passing $100 back and forth. So that's Spellbinders. I thought y'all would be interested in hearing that. But now to the main event, Trollpak. Which I've posted about, but I don't think we've ever talked about on the show before. And I've been thinking about it a lot because I just wrote something and hopefully, again, it's this project that I can't tell you much about. But I wrote a chapter on all the flashpoints in the hobby that are sort of interesting or otherwise controversial. The stuff that like people who study role playing games are going to be interested in, sort of picking at in the future, I think. And one of them, I think, is the way that race has been handled in role-playing games, and we've talked about this a lot off and on.
Right.
The big thing was a couple years ago, the kerfuffle over the depiction of orcs and to a lesser extent drow in Dungeons and Dragons, and how that's sort of complicated. It isn't so much a question of race, I think, as much as it is a question of how the alignment system turns things into absolutes where they don't necessarily have to be. So, and, I went back into the Monster Manual, the original Monster Manual, 1977 entry for orcs, and it doesn't it doesn't flinch. It really presents orcs as just irredeemably evil. They are lawful evil to the marrow of their bones. And I understand why you're doing that in terms of a game that's simulating a bunch of stuff, right? But
right.
In practice, in that same entry is a whole bunch of data on orc social groups and lifestyle. So you get to know how many non-combatants there are in a given orc encampment,
right?
Which includes women and children. And you could also calculate their experience points because it's their fair game, because they are irredeemably evil. And that's like, I don't think that anybody was really thinking about it in that way. But when you take a step back, especially in the world post-violence, the 1999 game by Greg Costikyan, which recasts the basic play loop of Dungeons and Dragons into the modern era where you're going from apartment to apartment in a modern city, killing the residents and taking their electronics. It's hard to look at the way orcs were presented back in the day and be like, wow, that's a little weird. Like, maybe we should find a better way.
Yeah.
And I don't think that it's necessarily the presentation of orcs as a fantasy villain race. I don't think that race is a great way to put it, but I do think that alignment is really the spot where it gets complicated and where the problematic content comes from.
Right.
Because, and you see it with the drow, who I believe are supposed to be chaotic evil. I haven't looked at the drow entry in forever. I don't like drow. They are irredeemably evil unless you get a Drist who is, a good guy for some reason. So then you get into those weird racial stereotypes of like being an exemplar of your race, quote unquote, or a credit to your race, right? Like
it just right off the bat just doesn't sound good.
No, it's terrible. And it's just like Drist is the one good drow, and like all the rest of them are only good if they're dead. And all of that stuff is like, oh, like once you start thinking about it and you see it, you're just like, it's exhausting. And the fact of the matter is, it doesn't have to be that way.
Pretty easy not to.
Very easy not to. And I can point to Trollpak, a 1982 box set. A box set.
Oh, wow.
Like it's not a small publication dedicated to the trolls of RuneQuest. And what this box set does is it presents, it's almost, I can't speak to what they were thinking, but it's almost as if they had trolls in the game and they didn't want people to turn them into orcs, which is just a convenient thing to stick swords into. At their core, so the world of RuneQuest is based on the runes themselves. The runes are sort of manifestations of the powers of creation. So everything in the universe is made up of on some level, on some metaphysical level, is made up by a combination of runes. Human beings are a combination of the man rune, which should probably just be like people rune, and the light rune. We live above ground. We do farming, Sunlight is important to human culture. Trolls are made of the man rune and darkness.
Okay.
That's the only distinction They live underground. They like the dark. They farm fungus. They train insects, giant insects, to be like pack animals and steeds. There are evil trolls. There's bad trolls. There's troll raiders. But there's also good trolls and peaceable trolls and farmer trolls and rancher trolls and all sorts of trolls. So literally the only difference is like that one rune just positions them to live underground. So they're different from people, but they're still people. They actually call themselves the Uz. And you think, oh, that's a cool fantasy name. But this is actually the beginning of that idea of just orcs or trolls, like in the Games Workshop sense, like they're war boys, Boyz.
Yeah.
The Uz isn't like a weird fantasy name. It's just how they pronounce us.
Oh.
Right?
Okay.
So like they're the same but different. And that's basically what the whole box set is dedicated to, is showing how troll society and culture and how they eat, what they do, their gods, how they worship, the ways in which they become evil, because like there's things in there, or instead of evil, the ways in which they come into conflict with others due to their beliefs and society is all laid out. And there's funny stuff too, like troll sports, which involves kicking trollkins, which are little mini trolls around.
Oh, that's fun.
They're definitely the ball. There's troll restaurants, which I think is just a hilarious. I just can't, like, in terms of, there's a couple things that fantasy supplements from the early days that were like restaurant related.
Friggin' trolls cheers.
Right? Like,
Glorb!
There's so many inns and bars and taverns and pubs, but I really like the idea of the formality of a restaurant, especially one run by trolls. And that's basically what Trollpak is. There's some really great dungeon design adventures. There's a troll settlement that's in a hollowed out corpse of a brontosaurus, which is so good.
So good.
And one of the earliest instances, I think, of that idea of like giant animal turned into living space.
I love that, by the way.
Yeah. There's a D&D one that has like a dungeon in a Tarrasque, which is great. There's that Sword Thrust or something, that Rolaids one where the dungeon is the giant frost giant's brain. I can't think of others off the top of my head, but there's like that's a definite like trope. So yeah, I've just been thinking about Trollpak, and it truly 1982, before the hobby was even a decade old. It is an entire half-inch box set in the Chaosium style. There's 3 booklets in there, a bunch of pamphlet adventures. Some where trolls are the villains, some where they're allies, some where they're just, innocent bystanders. It really just presents a different kind of way to present sort of the quote-unquote monster. Trolls can eat anything, by the way, which I think is one of their cool features. They can eat like people, which, puts them at odds with people, humans. But they can also, if there's no like plant or vegetable animal matter around, they can just eat dirts and rocks and stuff like that. And they can subsist on that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I love that. Like, and that just, it gives it a little more something that kind of like sets it apart from like other things. You know what I mean? Like, there's always that like thing where you're like, there's nothing that really differentiates, right?
Right.
And now you're like, oh well, yeah. When in doubt, rock soup. Where the rocks are like little meatballs, but
you love
rocks.
it. Like it's great. It's so clever and it's endearing. I love trolls in RuneQuest. I love that because they're dark people, like literally like darkness people.
Yeah. When
they go above ground during the day, like they have like these like ponchos and big hats that they walk around in, with veils and stuff. So like they have a really interesting look to them, both in their home setting and also when a troll merchant will have like they feel, I don't know, realistic without being simulated and like having to worry, but like they feel of the world in a way that's really great, and is one of the things that I really love about how RuneQuest just presents itself and allows you to sort of experience this different kind of existence. Even just reading, you don't even have to play RuneQuest to get that, which is great. So, it's
us.
Yeah.
Jody, final thoughts on Trollpak?
Let me see. When did I write about that? There was a post about it. I think I have it open on my phone. Yes, I do. So I posted about Trollpak way back in 2019, May 6th.
Oh, in the before times.
Yeah, back then I was writing them about a month ahead, so it was probably April of 2019. And I've definitely owned the box set for longer than, prior to that. And I have to say, I have to admit that it took until this morning for me to realize, oh, us is us. I never claimed to be a smart man.
Yeah, well, I mean, trust me, there's definitely some things recently where I was like, oh, and it's just that thing where like it was staring you in the face the entire time.
Right.
That
Like,
really,
very disappointing. But like as soon as I pulled it off the shelf, I was just like, "Us, oh man, really?" And but then I was excited because like I think that's one of the first RuneQuest plays a role in the creation of Warhammer. Like they were thinking about Games Workshop. RuneQuest was one of the games they imported, so the brew. There's a bunch of things that are in there, but I think that mispronunciation or misspelling of us is sort of a key bit of orc lore, Warhammer orc lore. Inspiration maybe is a better word. I think that's pretty cool. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got.
that's fun. That is fun as hell. This week, not much to talk about on my end. I will say that I just finished season 2 of One Piece on Netflix, and I cannot recommend it enough. Holy crap, what a just delightful television watching experience. I've never read the comic, I've never watched the anime, but as far as what appears to be like a true to story rendition, which is always like that, like when you go to live action, there's always that risk that they botch the job. It doesn't seem like they did in this one. It's super entertaining, it's super fun. The themes that I love, friendship and adventure, and it's an easy watch. Super good time. I saw Ready or Not 2, which, dear listener, I will tell you, sequels are hard, man. Sequels, trying to live up to what the first one was, which Ready or Not is one of my favorite modern movies, and it come back a bunch of years later and expand the story, especially in a movie like that, it's no small feat. But man, they knocked it out of the park. Samara Weaving, Catherine Newton as sisters in this one.
Nice.
It takes place like within minutes of the first one ending, like, Halloween 2. But man, they stick the landing on it. It is such a great experience, some great twists and turns, and there's some great violence as well. But I mean, I can't recommend it enough. If you love the first one and you're like, I don't know, man, sequels, give it a chance. Your old buddy HB recommends it. Definitely a good time. Other than that,
Oh, you mentioned Samara Weaving. Her father is Hugo Weaving.
yeah.
And I haven't gotten to it yet, but he's in season 5 of Slow Horses. I'm only on season 2 of Slow Horses, finished it last night. Dude, that show is amazing, and I recommend anybody who likes spy stuff to check it out. It's like Gary Oldman was sad as I was that he never got to do another Smiley movie after Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. And he was just like, all right, we'll do this, but I'm going to make the Smiley character as disgusting as possible. And I've never seen a character quite like that.
Dude, when he just like walks in, he's like, hold on, and he fucking farts.
His use of flatulence as like a social weapon is just it's like, I just can't believe that they're that. And he's such an interesting, like they managed to do that and yet keep him a very interesting and compelling character, which is a feat. A fantastic show.
I cannot recommend that enough either. So I haven't started season 5 yet. I was saving it because it's kind of for me like a late spring, early summer show.
No, I got you.
You know what I mean? It's just kind of like. And I also want to savor it because, once, you're only in the second season, it just keeps getting better.
I've been getting through. I did a season. It takes me 2 days to do a season. So
yeah. They're short seasons, folks. Yeah.
6 episodes, 3 episodes a night. I just sit there. Daisy's like, you can't watch a 3-hour movie with me, but you'll sit there and watch 3 episodes. 3 hour.
But baby, this is different.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know. I don't know. Sitting down at 10 o'clock at night and being like, I don't really want to watch one battle after another right now. That's a 2 hour and 40-minute movie.
That's a thing, you know?
But then, yeah. So sometimes TV's easier. I don't know.
Oh, no, TV by and large is easier. It definitely, because you could always be like, you know what? I'm going to stop here because it's the end of an episode and I'm going to go to bed. Oh, gosh, Slow Horse is so good. Anyway, this has been another amazing episode of the Vintage RPG Podcast. Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at vintagerpg.com. As I mentioned, I have posted about Trollpak already, but there's a second Trollpak that was released as part of RuneQuest 3, the Avalon Hill line, and that will be showing up in 2027.
Very cool. You can find me across the internet at John McGuire RPG on the Instagram and on the Blue Sky. You can pick up my awesome books that I have been writing along with my co-writer and cohort Gio Colazzo for going on 6 years as a company, which is pretty cool, over at hameneggpublishing.com. And if you want to get in on my next absolutely awesome crowdfunding campaign, the next thing I'm doing is a Shadow Dark adventure compatible with Shadow Dark. It's called Of a Harmonious Nature. It's a folk horror in the vein of A24 with the backdrop of Hammer horror. It is a legit full-length adventure, and there's also going to be a secondary adventure, which is going to be a full-on dungeon crawl, legit A to B dungeon crawl with some cool twists and turns. That's called Nothing Left to Lose. You will see them both on Backer Kit April 21st, but you can get notified right now, which I would totally appreciate if you just clicked on it. You see links everywhere where I am and everywhere where I will be. Cover for Of a Harmonious Nature, Sally Canarino, and I got Charlie Avery doing the cover for Nothing Left to Lose, so it is going to be too sweet. If you really like the show, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Your reviews really do help other listeners to find us. And if you really like the show, why not become a patron? Patreon.com/vintagerpg. You get a behind the scenes look at stuff that we got going on. You get some cool interactive ways to hang out with me and Stu for as little as $1 a month. There is a way to get early release episodes sometime between Friday and Sunday, depending on when we record them. And we've got a killer Discord community, a true oasis from the horrors of the world outside that we'd love for you to be a part of. Patreon.com/vintagerpg. So for Stu Horvath, I'm John Hambone McGuire. May the dice always roll in your favor. Thanks for listening. The Vintage RPG Podcast is a ham-fisted production. Music by Dead Go West. Art by Schaefer Brown. Edited by R. Alex Murray. Check us out at vintagerpg.com.